have to choose.
Class. Let's get back to learning about class. Alright, it's true, huh? Hey, look, what did we learn? We learned that there's something called, back then we have this variable equals to a number, right? So we don't call it variable, we don't call it a, we call it like, just number. We call something like a string, right? Maybe, Bob is Bob, this is a string. So this is called local variables. From today, you learn something new. This is called instance variable. So you can say instead of name equals what? Blah. And you get name like this. Name equals Adele. And you can type name back. You can put name. From now you can do this. It's the same, right? Except you can use it again outside the method. Outside the method, remember that. So here, if I have, name equals, maybe, you can call it set name, right? Say some name, and then I say name is some name. I save it to this name thing. Let's say I run this, so I say set name Adele. Let's check. Yay! That's the difference. Name here can be used outside. Okay? Now let's try if I do this name equals here. Run it and then I don't know what that name is. I set name, but I cannot get that name out. Yeah? So we know that there's this thing called instance variable. It's called instance. We don't know why it's called instance. Alright, with that, let's learn how to write this person class. What is this person class? I have Adele, who is a new person with a name Adele and a gender female. Okay? I have Taylor as person.new, Taylor, gender female. Alright? It's such a bad example. No male. So sexist. No male. Okay, that's fine. How do we do this? We say, I have to remember the name. I have to remember the gender. Initialize. Okay. Great. Just remember that this new goes here. Okay? Alright, so, maybe you can call this input 1, input 2, but you're using Ruby. So, let's make it a little better, right? Name and gender. Okay? Name and gender. So now you're like, okay, but if I use name here, I cannot get it out. So I call this, I save it to something else. Name is name. Gender is gender. Hey, they are different, okay? They are very different. It's A and B. So of course you can name this to be like, name 1 and gender 1. Just make sure you use that name, right? Or you can call this like, tên and, tên, when you write, programming language for beginners, something like that. Yeah? Okay, but we understand they are different, so I make them have the same looking English word. Is that okay? You just understand that this name comes from here, and this name is input here. This name is input here. Make sense? This female thing go into gender. This female go into gender. And then in that, each one of them is a person inside. You save it as name. Great. But we learned that we can do Adele.name, right? So, name. If I do just have this name thing, then now I can do Adele.name. Because Adele is a person. So Adele.name will call this method. I don't need any argument. Why do you need name? What? No need. I just need to get the name out. How do I give the name out? You just return it. Obviously, Ruby, you know that it's the last line, but it's this. Return. Return it out. It's the same. So I delete the word return. No need. How do you do gender? Huh? Easy. But you like, in 2007, Adele's ranking is number 1. So you like, you know, you do here. I'll just do it on here. Year 2017, not 7. And I say Adele's ranking is number 1. Okay? You may change Adele's ranking. The name and the gender stay the same. So when you run this, look, the magic. It will say undefined ranking equals. Huh? What does it mean? Ruby doesn't care about this space. You write that is an English thing, but Ruby consider you calling this method dot ranking equal. Isn't that cool? And then Ruby see you have this space. This is called an but it's an argument. So this is like that. It's a method. So when you say dot ranking equal, but Ruby understand this as a structure. You see the structure? Oh, look, equal thing is just a method. So ranking equal 1. Look, English is this. We always write like this. It makes sense. Do we write like this? Well, it kind of makes sense, but it makes the person who read this feel angry. What is this equal thing? And you know, not all languages allow symbol like this in the name, but Ruby does. Remember, we have a method called "Are you okay?" You can even put a question mark in here.
Yes.
Yeah, so cool. It makes you reading English. So now you have this equal thing. So if you understand this is the name of the method, that's why it's complaining. I show you the error because we should not be afraid of error. When you see error, alright, what can I learn? So let's read this error. It say, hey, a person here, even cooler, it show you the instance method in that, now the instance variable name and person, it shows that to you. So you can look inside it, just like a hash. Remember the hash? Just like it. Very similar now. Except, you know, it's an equal sign, not an arrow. Remember that double, this arrow thing? So it complained undefined. So when it say undefined, and I know I want it, I say I defined it. Ranking equal. Now obviously you cannot do ranking space equal. Why? This def space ranking space, Ruby will be like, what? Are you trying to do this? Right? No, because if you do, this is okay. It takes one value. Alright? This is the method name, this is argument. Ruby say yes, if you don't want to, I don't recommend you do that. Don't do that, okay? If you do this, you can take out the space. But if you define a method with equal, keep the name together. Only when you use it, you can have a space down here, okay? Down here, you can have space, okay? Space, and then in that case, take it out. So, here is our value. So when you take that ranking equals 1, what is value? 1. So sometimes you want to write more like English. You can call this new ranking. Yeah? You're giving Adele a new ranking. Right? Ranking is...
New ranking.
Yes! Bam! That's how you write. Remember read and write? This is how you write. Okay? In C you hear the word setter. Setter, getter. So you go this is writing. Up here, what is it? Is it writing? No, this is called reading. Alright? This is reading. You're reading a name out. You're reading a gender out. You're writing, ranking in. How do you get ranking out? What if I want to put, right? Adele's ranking is Adele dot ranking. That's it. No need to type. Look at this one. If I run this, what do you think will happen? 1? Why? It doesn't understand. No, right? Remember, you see this? Undefined method. So I run this. Remember, undefined method ranking equals here. But because I do this, line 18, if I have line 18, now line 29 will pass. Okay? Here's the error on line 29, but I run it. It will pass. And then it goes here, line 31. In line 31, I say a delta ranking. I'm reading the ranking out. But what happens? It say undefined method ranking. Why? Okay, we haven't defined it. Let's define it. Def space ranking or not ranking, right? Do you want anything in here? No, no need. Right? So okay. Alright, so I need an N here. That is cool. So something you don't need to change too much, right? Then you don't need a method to write. Do you need to do Adele dot female equal? No, gender equals male? No, right? No need. But ranking you need because year 2000 and year 2016, Adele dot ranking is 2. Okay. Great. So now you see that if I print Adele like this, P Adele, you see that Adele is a person with name Adele, gender female, ranking 2. If I print Taylor, what do you think? P Taylor here, there's no ranking. I haven't set it. It is still nil. Account ranking is nil. I call this at ranking, right? At. But it's nil, so you don't see it. Okay? That's cool, right? This is nil. You can even say, hey, maybe the default rank, this, remember the OR thing? If I don't set it, let's make that ranking 1000. Maybe like that, right? Or maybe you don't want this. You do this, then you say just a Taylor dot ranking, it will become 1000. But it's still, but at ranking here is still nil. So some people like this, they don't want this. Keep it like that, okay? But in here, everyone start out very humble. All the artists will be ranked 1,000,000, for example, right? So then you see that this person is ranked 1,000,000 until you change it. That sounds fair. Maybe I should rank 7 billion because there are 7 billions of people on Earth. In Ruby, there's one trick, huh? You can do this 1,000. Whoa! I really wrote 1,000,000,000. Did you see that? And you can do that. You can put the underscore anywhere, and Ruby will understand. Ruby is cute. It's designed for people who love beauties like us. Alright, so it's beautiful. Great, so we now know a little bit about class. Is that okay? Now let's, yes?
The define initialize we miss on ways in class, right?
No, if you don't care about it, then it's okay. But it's quite useless. Oh, let's see. Alright, let's go to a classroom thing. Okay, so I will have a new repo here. I save it. Maybe here we'll save example 2. Come on. How do I no change to save? Come on. I save it already. All unsaved data will be lost. What we have. Alright. So let's call this a classroom. There's no initialize method. This is enough. So our Ruby 101 class is classroom.new. Okay? How do we have Ruby 101.teachers? And then you can give it name Arlene. Right? Right? How do we do it? It's just one argument. This. Alright? You have, how do you do this? Maybe just make it simple. Just one argument. Like seats is 4 people. Okay? Obviously, maybe you can write this, but let's say we don't need the initialize method. Okay, if I run this, what will happen? You get an error. If you are Ruby, okay, line 4, error or not? No error. Line 5,
Yes.
dot seats. Do you think it understand? No, it will say undefined method. After dot is a method. Undefined method what?
6. 6 equal.
Yeah, see? Undefined method seats equal. So we have to define that. Okay? So how many class seats do I have? Def seats equal. Alright, that's it. Okay? And then if I run this, what will happen? I have this method, but it will say wrong number of arguments. Your seats takes no argument. Obviously, this is useless. Right? So you want to say number of people, right? Yeah? And then you say, what do you want to store it at? At. Put any name you want, but normally it's the same name. Easy to remember. Doesn't hurt our brain. Easy to remember. Alright, number people. Yeah? You can even call this seats equals seats, seats here, but that's a bit too much. Then it hurts our brain. Alright, so I write this. Great, because now I have Ruby 101. And you see seat in there? You see seats 4 here? So you see no need to do the initialize method. If you want to set it one at a time. Remember last time we have this classroom. It will be like an empty classroom, and then inside you can say seats equals 4. Line 7 and 8, look at that. And line 10 and 11. The problem with lines 10 and 11 is there can only be one classroom. But line 7 and 8 you have you can have one class. I have the next class starting in 10 minutes. Right? So it's a bit cooler. It's slightly different. You have the dot seats, and then you're down here you have square brackets. Sometimes you use line 10, 11 because it's simpler. We only have one class. Remember, if you need another class, like this is our intro Ruby class. Then another class we have to be advanced Ruby will be like, maybe you have to do intro ruby.dup. Remember, we have to clone it, copy it into something else. We don't have to do this copying with the .new. We say another class. I'll say advanced Ruby is classroom.new. It's different. How many position? How many people? We have 20 people in this advanced class. Alright, so I go here, I check what is my Ruby 101. It's the classroom with 20 seats. Oh shoot. This is advanced. Right? Let's try again. Ruby 101, how many seats? Class advanced Ruby, how many seats? Alright, let's say if we didn't print that. I say Ruby 101, how many seats? Ruby 101 dot seats. If I do that, does it work?
Yes.
Yes? Are you sure? If I type enter here, what it's trying to do here? Dot seats. It will look for the method. Method named seats. If I enter, undefined method seats. So you have to go in here. Hey, you cannot get it out. This is private, right? This is private inside. So you need to give it out. Remember, this is now read. So you read it out. You can protect your internal things. So now I have Ruby.seats, classroom.seats. Okay? But sometimes you're like, I don't want to use 2 lines. That's why if you want to pass in here for or something, like let's say this class name, I want the name of this class name room. So Ruby, along intro to Ruby, and this class will be called advanced, Ruby for arrogant people, right? People who think they know stuff. So let's say here now, it will not run because it will say what? Row number of arguments for this. When you call new in line 15, all right? No, line 12 here. When you call, look, right? REPL, line 12, okay? It's in line 12, it called new. And then new go to initialize. There's an empty initialize somewhere. And this initialize takes no argument, but you give it 1. Given 1 argument, you give 1 argument, expect 0 because you don't write it, but Ruby secretly write this. Initialize that. Empty. That. So when you call, it will go in, run here, and it's like, well, no argument. But you give me 1 argument. I don't know what to do. Cry. So I have to say class name in here, right? If I run it now, no more complaints. If I run new with an argument, initialize with a name. Yeah? Great. Why does it still complain? Initialized, right? When you see that, you know that, that's great. It's so easy to mistype that word. Initialize, no, initialize. Great. How do I get the, remember Ruby 101? Where's my name? I only have seats. Because I never save it. I need to write that name down. So how do you save it? Now, let's try. Down here. Name, and seats. Beautiful? There are faster way to do this seat thing, but for now you just learn. You can do, this is called writing, equal. Remember, no space here, huh? Then Ruby will think that, are you trying to call this? It's weird. So, no space. Right, so stare at that and see if you have a question. Any question? It's quite cool. So if I ask you, write me a method that's defined Ruby 101.teachers. Yeah? Let's say I only have 1 teacher, and that teacher has name and gender. Let's say name and age. Whoa, yeah. So like Ruby teacher. Alright, maybe name is Harley. So this is a hash. Age is, I'm 15 years old. Yeah? So when I do this, when I run this, what happens? And what is the error? Teacher equal. You now can predict the error. Isn't that cool? Like it's like you going in the wrong lane and you know the police will show up and catch you. Hey, you're going with Gio, right? In the wrong lane, 500,000 dong because you have a nice car or motorbike. Something similar. And notice, even though it looks really crazy, looks like you're writing it on paper, but Ruby understand it like this. Okay? This is the human way, okay? Human. What is the computer way? It's just a method. Okay? Method is this. Computer is this. Oh, you have an equal sign? Nope. It's the same. It's one method. You have this thing. It's an argument. So I put it in a thing here. So now I have this. This is the teacher hash. Okay? Can you write this teacher method up here with write and read on, please? Hello.